No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gon' eat everything up off they plate? Who the next one that's really gon' step up and be great? Yeah, the FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah, part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah. Don't forget to smash that like button. Comment, subscribe, all that. The fanatic. Yeah.
Welcome into the Fanatic. Hey, man, we back at it. Coach I, man, we live streaming the college football reaction, man. Let's get some of our guests go ahead and get this thing popping, man. Stat Guy.
Yo.
What's going on, Stat Guy?
You already know we got Sandstorm blaring over here.
That's right. Hey, y'all up 24-14, man. We got our guy USC Jay in the house. What's going on, Jay?
What's up, man? What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, we in here for the college football reaction. We got some good games going on right now, man.
We got TCU getting that work right now.
Yeah, they driving right now. They on the 40-yard line, though. They driving, trying to make it a game. There's still a lot of time left. Stat guy happy because South Carolina is up 24-14 on Texas A&M.
Man, hey, Texas A&M is lost in the sauce, man. I'm just they lost in the sauce, bro. I mean,
that's right.
That ain't South Carolina. That's the real USC. Don't get it twisted.
Hey, well, I want South Carolina to smash. I want them to beat them 45-0. I can't stand Texas A&M.
Hey, for real. Hey, before we get started, Jay, tell them where they can find you at, man.
You can find me on YouTube. You can find me at USCJ on YouTube, USCJ. If you go to Twitter or Instagram, you can find me at USCJ32 on both of those social media platforms.
That's right, man. Bringing y'all all the Trojan inside information, recruiting, game breakdowns, everything, man. You got former USC players on, so y'all have to go out there and check him out, man. Let's start out, man, talking about that Pac-12, man. The big one. UCLA, Oregon.
The big one. Hey, let me tell you, the big one is UCLA got absolutely exposed today, man. I think Oregon put that blueprint on as far as how to beat them, man. And you know, it's amazing because I thought UCLA. I thought the way Washington State did Oregon, they beat them 41. Oregon beat Washington State 41-44 at Oregon a few weeks ago. So I said, man, I thought UCLA was gonna be able to come with it a little bit, man. But they just was completely lost in the sauce. Got just ran all over, man. And Bo Nix had a heck of a game, man.
He did have a good game, man. Yeah. We got a couple more guests in. JJ, what's going on, baby?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing tonight?
Hey, what's good, man? We got JJ in, man, representing Pitt, man. Pitt is going on right now, 7-7 with Louisville. Yeah. Third quarter. What's going on, my man? You finally got in with me.
Finally got in, man. I told you I was going to make it. I finally made it, man. What's going on? I'm actually in town for a change.
Hey, that's what's up. JJ, before go ahead and tell them where we can get started, where they can find you at, man.
Yeah, so you can find me on my account on Twitter at JJ_Kitchen40. It's the best place to find me. And then I do a little bit of work with FQ Pitt. There's good guys over there, just helping them out whenever I can, whenever I get the chance. And then hopefully down the road, probably after the first of the year here, we'll be starting my own channel. So a lot of good times coming up. Good stuff.
That's right, man. We got JJ give all that good pit info, man. Hey, tell them where they can find you at, Jay.
Hey, you can find me over at Unfair Sports. Just search for Unfair, as well as on Twitter and wherever podcasts are downloaded and listen to. Thanks for having me.
That's right, man. Hey, we got my boy Shouty Thad Parker, man. Hey, former UGA wide receiver, man. Hey, listen, what's going on, Shouty? We got the week off, dog, so we get to check everybody out.
Man, what's happening, man? Good to see everybody.
That's right, man. Hey, we got some good games going on right now, man, but we talking about that UCLA Oregon game. See, listen, I'm going to tell y'all, as a Georgia fans, everybody was like, when we busted Oregon up, everybody's like, Oregon overrated. Now Oregon done ran off 7 straight. What about that? What about that, USCJ?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Man. Missouri is nowhere near the level as Oregon, man. But for some reason, Georgia has some issues with. I don't know why. It just. But let me tell you this. I think parity now, man. The way parity is, I think me and you talked about this transfer portal, man. I think it's like I'm getting like the NFL, man. It's any given day, man. Anybody can get it, man. And that's just how it is right now. I mean, everybody playing. You know, especially a team like Georgia. Everybody's getting up for Georgia, right?
Yeah. But hey, listen. I think. Go ahead, Jay.
I was gonna say, I think it's always been that way, though, man. And to be honest, I think Joe Klatt said it best when he was talking about it, that the way college football is, from like the top 3 or even the top 6 are probably within like a point from each other as far as Vegas ratings go. But from 6 to like 70, they're about a point different in between there combined. Like, college football's always had parity underneath the top guys. Anybody can get it any week. But when you have that top tier set of talent, you put together the perfect team, then it's almost impossible to stop you. And sometimes it's just luck of the draw certain years. I mean, Nick Saban's just great at bringing those players in, but that's the reason why they lose some years. The reason why Georgia lose some years. But Georgia's always been consistent. Same thing with USC back in its heyday with Pete Carroll and Oklahoma in its years. It teeters out to be even, and then it just flies up. So it's those top teams. But outside of that, man, parity's always been there. But yeah, that Oregon right now is making that win against Georgia, that blowout, look good.
Yeah, Thad, what you got to say about that?
Well, what I was saying is I think what he said is pretty accurate if you wasn't talking about this particular year. This particular year is the greatest year for the 12 team playoff. No team this year has showed that they don't have any deficiencies. You normally have years where you have a 1A, a 2B, 3B, and maybe a C. But this year, I couldn't tell you who the best team.
Crazy.
Normally it's like Alabama, blah, blah, blah. This year, I don't know. Everybody got deficiencies.
That's right. That's right, my
tough.
guy. Hey, so another big game was Oklahoma State and Texas. Texas seemed like they had it in hand. My guy Poogle here, he said, he an Oklahoma State fan, man. He's like, Texas went down. That's right. Hey, man, y'all got a good win. Listen, I was surprised when y'all lost to TCU last week, but right now TCU got all they can handle with Kansas State. The Big 12 seems like it's wide open. So
that's my point, folks. The parity is crazy this year.
It's crazy.
It is. To go back to something USCJ said, man, with all the transfer portal, you know what I'm saying? The NIL, like earlier this year when Arkansas lost to or had a close game or lost to Missouri State had 43 transfers and 26 of them people was like from Power 5 schools. So it's like, they're FCS or whatever, but they had a whole bunch of Power 5 guys because of the transfer portal. So Tennessee. Ole Miss. Even though Ole Miss went down today, Ole Miss
got it today.
And to all y'all point, man, LSU looked like they, had mailed it in for the season. They come up and they handle Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying?
I thought Ole Miss was a fraud though, man, because when they played Tulsa, man, they barely was it Tulsa or Tulane, one of those teams. They barely beat them. It was like 24-17. I said, man, they look suspect to me, man. So I wasn't sold on them all the way.
Yeah, last year they had a really good quarterback. This year, Jackson Dart, he kind of okay. They more of a running team. And I was telling Stat Guy earlier, I was like, LSU like that kind of game. You going to try to run into the teeth of their defense? That's fine if you ain't throwing it around.
And that's what Tennessee did against them when they played LSU. They taught them a lesson out there with that just going deep. They dusted him. I was out there at that game in Death Valley, and every other play, all you saw that ball launch, and you like, oh, it's a done deal. It's over. So if you want to beat LSU, you got to throw it over them.
So okay, since we don't know who the best team in college football is, I mean, counting today.
No, we know who the best team is.
We do?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. The record and the box the record and the box score shows it. What you mean?
Y'all do play Tennessee though. So
you don't see this. Hold on, now the first thing you gonna say your first defense is who we gonna play. I'm just telling you what don't happen. The box score and the record shows you who the best.
I think the best one right
now.
Y'all
got the record right now. I think a lot of people gonna knock each other out, man.
What else are we talking about other than right now? Don't jump.
Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna go around and up until this point, like we can't take into account what's gonna happen in 2, 3, 4, 8 weeks. Up until this point, USCJ, who's the best team in the nation?
Man, I'm like, I can't give it to just. Hold on, let me tell
me who it is.
Let me say my case right now. The reason I can't give it to Georgia, just with what we've been talking about, the way they struggled against Missouri, then the week before that they struggled against Kent State. It's 2 weeks in a row that they have some struggling going on. And last year, if it was the Georgia defense, I'll say, man, Georgia, because Georgia, nobody was messing with that defense last year. But this year, we just don't know. Alabama should have lost against Texas, right?
Okay.
You know, and you seeing all types of suspect behavior going on, man. You know what I'm saying? So if the truth be told, if I say who's the best team right now, it's got to be Ohio State. They blowing people out 50 to.
Hold on.
Oh,
okay, yeah. I got a rebuttal for that. Is Notre Dame good? No,
they suspect.
Okay. Listen. So if you counting off for Georgia's struggles against a Missouri team who actually has a top 20 defense statistically, then you got to count off for Ohio State struggling at home. Mind you, we was at Missouri. Mind you, we was at Missouri now. We was at Missouri. They was at home in the Horseshoe, had a whole all season to prepare for one game. Yeah. All right, JJ. Up until this point, who's the number one team?
I think really, there's only 2 teams that should be in this conversation. It's nobody from the Big Ten, it's nobody from the ACC, nobody from the Big 12, and nobody from the Pac-12. There's 2 teams. It's Georgia and Tennessee. Those are the 2 best teams right now in the country.
Don't do that.
Brother, I watched Tennessee up here. Pitt went to overtime with them, but let me tell you something. When Nick Saban comes out 2 days later after that game and says, we saw Tennessee go out wide, okay? They couldn't handle out wide because he's like, they're all the way to the sideline, which is true, faced them. But then the fact that he had to go on television with the Alabama fans and say, look, Tennessee went into I formation and our players came back and said they had no idea what the hell to do. I mean, they literally said, we have no idea what the hell to do. I think the creativity and the coaching from Tennessee has been incredible this year. But then you have to put in the fact, you look at Georgia, their defense, I'm telling you, defense, Tennessee's got the offense, but they don't have the defense. They're still giving up a ton of points.
That's what I want. Yeah, right.
But if I look at really the way a team looks and if they're going to win, I think, I'll tell you what, Georgia's there too because their defense, man. Their defense is not a joke. And I'm just really excited to see when it comes down to it, those 2 teams, Tennessee and Georgia. That's it.
Okay, so today, Tennessee put it on UT Martin like they should. They had 52 in the first half. They just beat Alabama. Who you got at number 1, man? You only can pick one.
Hey, man, so I totally get exactly what JJ is saying, and I respected the opinion on that. I can't put it's Ohio State, period. And this is the reason why I say that. So this is why I put Georgia right behind them at 2, and I think Tennessee's inching up with Georgia. Georgia's defense is legit. It is. It really is. That Kent State knows back-to-back game to Kent State and Missouri. That's where that issue for Georgia comes in. Their offense can't do anything. Now, their defense is good, but I don't know if their offense is going to look like it's Tennessee down the future. But Ohio State struggled against Notre Dame in the first game. You are 100% right. New coach, new setup, new schemes, new players. sometime that happens, teams step up to play against a team on the road that they want to beat. Since then, who done competed with Ohio State?
Tell me this. Nobody but who they played. Who they played.
They played in conference. They're playing conference
Who they
games.
played?
They're playing conference games. They're playing conference games. Georgia ain't played nobody. Georgia
We
has
beat.
played.
Okay.
So
Georgia
who got
has played.
So on all these
Oregon.
teams, you saying who got the
That's it.
best win of the year?
Oregon
up.
has played. Georgia
Okay.
has played Oregon, and that's it. Auburn-
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
But
Hold on.
Oregon's
Oregon-
been the
Oregon is a
dumpster
top
fire in
10
SEC the
team.
last few years.
Okay, listen. So Oregon is a top 10 team. You gave us that.
I'm gonna give you that.
Currently,
That
currently,
win is
listen.
better because Oregon
Listen.
fixed it. That they
I know
played
y'all like
conference
this.
too.
Listen, and I'm not saying they great, but to Stat Guy's point, South Carolina is about to be 5-2. I'm just saying. We playing conference games, baby.
Other than Tennessee, who has the best win over an opponent? And you can Tennessee only beat them by 3. We beat Oregon by 40 points.
New coach.
I mean,
new scheme,
I will
new
say
players,
this.
new everything.
That's the best one. I think that's the best win of the season. I mean, by far, that's the best win of the season.
Hold
You
on,
can't
hold
argue
on. Who got a new coach? Notre Dame, right?
and Oregon.
And
Okay.
Oregon, and that's the argument.
So-
I
so
think that's the
listen,
argument I
listen.
would make.
So listen, Notre Dame got a new coach, new scheme, new everything, and they still went to Ohio State in the horseshoe and played them tough. Like that's not
They
supposed to
did.
happen when you that good, dog.
Actually, it does. It happens all the time. Any given Sunday, any given Saturday. We talked about this. This happens all the time in college football.
No, it
Exactly.
don't. No, it don't. No, it don't. You just can't say that frequently. It don't happen all the time. Because if it happened all the time, it wouldn't be a story.
All the time. It
Okay.
happens all the time.
So let's talk about another game, man. Let's talk about Oklahoma State and Texas. Everybody, listen, a lot of people, I ain't gonna say everybody, a lot of people said if Quinn Ewers had played against Bama, Texas would have won. I don't believe that because
Me either.
you can't just say that. And then today, Quinn Ewers throws 2 picks. You know what I'm saying? Against the Oklahoma State, who ain't really got a secondary. They got a good front 4. They got a
126th ranked defense on passing defense in the country. 126th.
Facts. Facts.
Hey, and think about this. Tennessee is worse than that. Deep pass.
Yeah.
That's my whole point. You're going to throw stats out there, then
That's
you're
a
going to
stat
say
for you.
something like that. Come on, bro. You speaking out
Hey,
both sides of your
I'm just
mouth,
trying
man.
to get it to you, man. We gotta consider that because see, if Georgia went up against a pass offense like a
Tennessee.
not Georgia, Tennessee rather, that goes up against another offense like a USC or some other offense that really be slinging that ball. I mean, Bryce Young was kind of knick-knacked up, so you got to consider that. You got to factor that in. I mean, because they defense, it's gonna be another gun, shootout, man.
And in 2 weeks, on the live stream, we'll be able to talk about that. But right now,
Oh yeah, we will.
Hey, listen.
We will.
that's right. So right now, who y'all got coming out of the who y'all got coming out of the Big 12? So right now, K-State, TCU just scored, by the way, 28-24.
Yeah, 28-24. Yeah.
So
They got a
it's
game
K-State, it's TCU, and Oklahoma State. JJ, who you like in the Big 12, man?
I'll tell you what, man. It's gonna be hard to pick between Okie State and TCU, man. Those are really my 2 teams out of there. I think they both play hard as shit. I'll tell you what, they're very aggressive. So the biggest thing when you're looking at teams, okay, not just the offense, defense, special teams. What's the physicality look like? What Sonny's doing down there at TCU has been remarkable, to say the least. But then you look at a team like Oklahoma State today. They were physical. And, again, I'm disappointed in just how bad Texas is every year. They just completely blow it. But if I had to pick a team, I'll tell you what. If I had to pick a team, I'm going to go TCU. I think they're just well put together right now. They're doing what they're supposed to. I think Oklahoma State's going to be it's going to be close. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go with TCU.
Okay, Jay. Right now, if K-State holds on, they'll be still undefeated in the Big 12.
Yeah.
They'll be the only one. Outside of O State. I put it like this. I think it's TCU as well. I've been high on TCU coming into the season. Kansas State, this is probably Kleiman's best team that he's ever had at Kansas State. In the 5 years he's been there, their defense is stout. Felix on the end is a monster. So their defense is big. They're good. They can play as we see them making TCU struggle. But Max Duggan, man, he's stepped up. He's stepped up big, especially with Garrett Riley.
Dark horse Heisman
offense. He's making some stuff happen. He's making it easier for the receivers to move around and do things. That's the Lincoln Riley, Garrett. That's their Riley setup on their offense. It makes it easy for the receivers to do their things, but makes it difficult for the defense to figure out what the hell is going on. So I see TCU ending up winning this game in the end. The struggle they're going to have in this game is because Kansas State's defense is actually really good. It's just the Big 12 has always produced a whole bunch of offensive teams to where they just score nonstop. So, but outside of that, I think
somebody phone buzzing. That's somebody. All right, Shawty, tell him you'll call him back. Shawty, who you got winning that Big 12, dog?
Well, I'm gonna have to echo what the last two guys have said. But before I say that, man, I apologize. My attire, man, y'all caught me coming out. I didn't have a chance to get myself together. But things a little bit different. Things a little bit different, but I'm gonna tell you what. I think it's JJ Kitchens.
Yeah,
he sounds like he got some sense. USCJ, it sounds like he got some sense. But this guy down here in this what is it, Jay? I don't know what the fuck he talking about, man. And I don't mean that. I'm just talking trash. But yeah, you know some other stuff. But those other two guys, I'm with them all the way. And just to keep things in perspective. I was with Okie State, but I can't lie. TCU, man, the job that guy doing at TCU, I mean, I can't knock it, man. So I'm almost wavering, but I'm a hold strong, and I like Okie State.
Okay. Stat guy, you in there?
Yeah, I'm here. First of all, for a quick update, Haynes King, who has been hobbled and playing hurt all game, we finally knocked him out. So my worst nightmare come true, a 5-star dual threat quarterback that we have no film on now entering the game in the fourth quarter.
Get that shirt ready, stat guy.
Oh, bite me, Thad. Anyway, all of y'all are idiots. Oklahoma State lost the game to keep them out of the playoffs. They now run the table and win the Big 12. They're going to beat whoever they play in the Big 12 championship in a shootout. Look, I picked them. They were my dark horse to be the 4th seed in the playoff. That's done and over with. A one-loss Big 12 team doesn't get in. There's too much other stuff that would have to happen. But OK State runs the table, and they 50-piece somebody in the Big 12 championship game to hang a banner.
Woo. Okay. That's gonna be nasty. So I think we all say Oklahoma State or TCU. But like I say, if Kansas State holds on, they'll still be undefeated in Big 12. But I'm with y'all. I think it's one of those two. Let's go out west to USCJ territory, man. Who we got coming out to Pac-12? Jay?
Oh, man. Oh, you guys, man, you already know what time it is, man. First of all, we got cheated on last week, man. I mean, the game.
God,
you guys,
you guys
know we got cheated, man. But hey, it's gonna be us, man. We coming out the pack, man. And it's a possibility we could play Oregon or we could play Utah, man. Again, in the Pac-12 championship, because there's no more Pac-12 South and North. So I think if we win out our next games at Arizona, next 3 games, Arizona, Colorado, we got to play UCLA, Notre Dame. I think it's a good chance we can win all those games. I think we got one of the best offenses in the country, and I think we can run the table.
All right, Jay, who you got coming out of that Pac-12, dog?
I got Oregon coming out, man.
Hey, they look good today.
I think they're the best team in the Pac-12, period. But I do see them potentially either playing USC or Utah for that title. So as far as the matchup goes, it's going to be one of those two who's going to play against Oregon. I think Oregon goes ahead and just runs the table and finishes it out. Hey, man, they good. They're good. They proved after that blowout to Georgia, they came out there and changed everything, it looked like, and they became a whole new person and have been cooking ever since. So
can I say one thing? I want this to be in your mind. You know, Washington State played Oregon at Oregon and almost beat Oregon 44-41. We just blew them out 40-something to 20-something the other day.
We're not playing horseshoes or hand grenades.
Hey, transitive property don't work. Transitive property don't work, dog.
Y'all went out to Oregon.
Right, we're not playing house
Corvallis
shoes
and
and
almost
hand
lost to Oregon State. Like, we can go.
Hey,
round
but
and
I'm
round all
saying
day long on that.
UCLA wasn't what everybody thought they was. They got exposed.
Well, you thought UCLA was gonna beat Oregon.
I thought they were because of the way Washington State did them, but they got exposed, man. DTR got exposed.
So hey,
We'll
so
see what
JJ,
later in the season.
JJ, who you got coming out of the Pac-12, man? Oregon look good today.
I'll tell you what, clearly it's going to be between Oregon and USC, but at the end of the day, I look at that conference overall. I mean, uninspiring is what it is. I mean, USC. I mean, I think USC is going to win it all in that conference, but I'm just not sure who they're facing on a regular basis. I mean, Bo Nix. I mean, they look good today.
Wait.
Hey, JJ, hey, hold on. First of all, JJ, wait. Hang on. First of all,
hold on, Jake. Let JJ finish his point.
Let Mr. Kitchens do his thing. Let Mr. Kitchens do his thing. Let's give him a moment.
I'm telling you, I think you got to come down to offense. I'll pick USC to win it out, but I mean, because here's the thing: I think Bo Nix is still going to be Bo Nix at Oregon when the big game comes. So I can't pick Oregon. They look really good today. But can I pick them and say, they're going to beat USC? I don't know. I think UCLA. I had them being really good this year, but they're clearly not who we thought they were. If I had to pick a team, I'm going to go USC. But
okay. But it's like a round robin. USC, what you was gonna say though?
Why is it that when a team from the conference within the conference beats another team that we don't think that they are without, but when Alabama loses, it's just the SEC or it's just this. Man, that's hypocrisy, man. Hey, if it's parity on one side, it's parity on the other side.
They win national championship. These teams you talking about don't win national championship.
But we talking about this.
I'm just saying, it's not hypocrisy. They win the national championship. These teams you talking about ain't winning.
All right,
so my man, you said your conference. You said the conference is uninspiring. What's your conference?
ACC.
SEC.
You don't see this damn logo in the back.
The dog.
I don't care about no logo. Hey, look. So what conference are you in? What conference you in?
I ain't gonna even say conference. I'm telling you,
the other guy.
What conference
are you in?
I'm in the ACC.
National champions.
You in the ACC?
Yeah.
JJ.
The reigning national champions.
Hey. Y'all just got a national championship after 40 years, man. We had
listen, y'all. Hold on, Jay. If we gonna talk about what we ain't did, y'all ain't did that since Reggie Bush graduated. So I mean, we're not gonna.
We won the Rose Bowl in 2017. We won the Rose Bowl in 2017.
No, what is that? Like y'all was playing a bad Big Ten team, so we're not gonna do that. We talking about. Listen, we talking. Hold on. We talking about right now. I ain't got nothing to do with 1980. We talking about right now.
All right, so let's keep it real right now. Each conference, the SEC is not what it used to be. Let's just be honest. The ACC sure ain't better than the Pac-12. Do y'all agree on that?
Listen,
on, man.
We got
ACC ain't better than the Pac-12
teams in the nation.
No, right if you look at Washington, they beat Michigan State this year. You look at
State's 2-5.
You look at UCLA. The ACC is not better than the Pac-12. Go down the list. They're not. Who? Syracuse? You want Syracuse? Who?
Speaking of, Clemson struggled with Syracuse today.
Clemson still lost that game, and there's some questionable calls in that game. Who you want? You want North Carolina State?
You got.
Well, their quarterback got hurt. Quarterback got hurt. To be fair,
Wake Forest is still there. Clemson's still there. NC State's still there.
I don't want to hear no Wake Forest. Please don't say Wake Forest in this, please. Not Wake
Hold
Forest.
on,
Pac-12 has been in the playoffs since before it even started.
We ain't got nothing to do with the ACC and the Pac-12. We clearly better than both.
Listen, we
in the conversation.
No,
so we're gonna have to have.
I don't think so.
We're gonna have to have a separate live stream about who we think the best conference is. That can go on all night. Let's talk about so Pac-12.
That's an argument. Is that really an argument?
Every conference is top heavy, bro. Like, let's be real. Every conference.
No, I'm just saying who win the national championship.
Pac-12 who ain't sent nobody to the
we talking about this year, right? We talking about this year. The SEC top heavy.
But okay, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's top is top heavy. Yeah, exactly.
No,
Except for the Big
who's
12.
winning
Each other.
national championships?
That's right. Yeah. So Clemson struggled with Syracuse today, but Syracuse got a legit secondary. So we gonna move from the Big 12 to the Pac-12. Who we got coming out of the ACC? Because last year Pitt won the ACC.
Hey,
Scored.
Coach, I don't get the answer.
Yeah. Answer who in the Pac-12?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
UCLA's coming out of the Pac-12. UCLA
They
is
just
going to
lost.
get
Ooh.
that's their first loss. They're going to get their rematch with Oregon. They're going to get their rematch with Oregon, and they're going to beat them. You got to remember now, it's the two best records. They don't do the North-South anymore. Two best
So
records.
you saying that UCLA is gonna beat USC?
No, they're going to beat Southern Cal. USC plays in the SEC. They're on TV right now.
Here we go.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
All right, so on to the ACC. We'll start with the ACC guy on the panel, JJ. Clemson, Syracuse came down to Clemson, and actually, I feel like they lost the game more than Clemson won the game. They had a 21-10 lead, and in the third quarter, they was on Clemson 43, and it was 3rd and 3. And instead of taking 2 plays to try to get a first down in no man land, they threw the ball on 3rd and 3, and then had to punt the ball and lost the momentum. So, but anyway, Clemson came up with the win. A win is a win, and like Fast said, we just count W's and L's around here. So JJ, who you got in ACC, man?
I think it's still going to be Clemson. It's still going to be Clemson out of there. But you're going to see that, Wake Forest will still have a shot. It's going to be between those two teams, I think. I think just a Coastal on our side right now, like Pitt's winning right now, but they're struggling with quarterback play. UNC has a good quarterback, but they don't have any defense. They don't have any ACC losses. They're 5-1 right now.
That's fair.
They're the leader in the ACC on the Coastal side.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think that they go to the conference championship and beat Clemson? No. I even think that, to be honest with you, I think DJ will be the quarterback for Clemson continually going forward. But you got to look at. They're going to give Cade a look. That kid went out there today with no preparation at all, and he started lighting it up. So and I give credit to Syracuse too, because the way Syracuse played there in the Death Valley, for how hard it is to play down at Death Valley, I give them credit for it though. But I see Clemson winning it all in the ACC.
Yeah, okay. Just a score update before we move on to Jay. TCU is taking the lead. It's 31-28. So all of you guys that said TCU, yeah. So Jay, who you got coming out of the ACC down there?
Me,
I'm
USC,
Jay,
go.
Okay. Go USC. No, you go, my man.
Man, I was totally wrong at the beginning of the season. I had North Carolina State. I thought they quarterback and everybody was coming back, man. But clearly,
he
I
got
was
hurt
wrong.
though. Well, he got hurt. To your point, to your credit, he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Yeah.
That kid's great.
Yeah, I guess, man. I guess it's gonna be Clemson, man. I don't really. It's gonna have to be Clemson. It's gonna have to be Clemson. I don't see North Carolina doing anything with them. I don't see. They already won against Wake Forest overtime. Miami sure not doing nothing. So I think, it's got to be Clemson.
Miami went into the fourth quarter neck and neck with Duke, and then Duke put up another 14 points on them to beat them today. So, all right, Jay, unfair. What we got in the ACC?
So the problem with the ACC right now, I put it like this. The team I'm going to say is Clemson. I think Clemson's going to go ahead and win it out. They'll probably end up going undefeated all the way through to the title game and winning it. Their biggest issue right now is that they're shifting with coaches. You got to remember, they just lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. Basically, most of their entire defensive staff is gone. Because when Venables left, he brought everybody with him. So that's a big loss to have for a team that has been so reliant on that over the last, 6, 7, 8 years, putting up those dominant defenses. He's rebuilding all of that. He's rebuilding all of that while at the same time still being undefeated. That tells you something. They've got enough of a foundation that they can rebuild quickly. But they're basically building the ship while they're on the water. You know what I'm saying? They're re-putting all the pieces together, trying to get back to what they were. Now, quarterback play isn't perfect. DJ Uiagalelei is not. He isn't Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence. So we've kind of got to stop comparing him. He's a quarterback that's 6'4" and he's big, but he's not those elite guys that they had before. I think Cade will step in next year and change the game for them. But as of right now, they're lucky that they've just got so much talent and athleticism that they can coast all the way to the end of the title game. And I think that that's what they'll do this year.
Stat guy, who you got in the ACC, man? He is.
You already know who's going to win the ACC. You're not getting those words out of my mouth. But whoever wins the ACC, if they do happen to go to the playoffs, I promise you they get beat by 3 touchdowns.
I'm not arguing with that point because I think the other three teams. I think the other 3 teams, if like I say, I picked Clemson to go to the playoffs because of the ACC. I just don't see a team deep enough to beat them, and by default, if the ACC champion is undefeated, they're going to go to the playoffs. So regardless of how you feel about the conference, one way or the other, if Clemson goes undefeated, wins, they'll be in. But I don't think they have the offense that the other 3 potential playoff teams I have. Thad, who you got in the ACC? Is it Clemson by default? North Carolina's undefeated, by the way, in the ACC.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, it's hard. It's hard not to say Clemson, especially what you have seen from the other teams in the conference. I would have to lean towards Clemson, but honestly, even if they win the ACC, depending on how things shake out, I don't know if they'll lock into the playoffs.
Oh, you saying? Okay. You saying like if TCU hold on, they'll be undefeated. That's an undefeated Big 12 team. Ohio State, an undefeated Big 10 team. Is that what we all thinking anyway?
Because TCU may have better wins than Clemson.
Well, this will be their 3rd ranked win in the world, by the way.
That's the point that I'm making. I don't know how everybody locking Clemson in, but if they win the ACC, I just don't. ACC didn't have a representative last year. You know, I just don't know how you expect because you're a Power 5 conference.
Listen, I'm glad you brought that up because Tulane is still undefeated, by the way, and they got a Big 12 win.
But with that being said, though, we talk about it all the time. It's money in the bank. Clemson's been there before. They've won 2 natties. And so because of that, I think if they're undefeated, Ohio State, Michigan play each other. One of them is out. I think an undefeated Clemson team has the best shot of anybody to get in over a 1-loss SEC team.
That makes
I agree.
Listen, I think the college football playoff does. That's why I feel like Alabama, because Alabama built deposits in the bank by winning championships. So even when they lose a game, they still got that money in the bank because they know Alabama is Alabama. And I think Clemson the only other team that has multiple.
I thought we said every year is different though.
I'm talking about the college football playoff committee. I'm talking about
the committee's different than the rankings.
and I'll say this too: Clemson has 3 ranked wins.
Everything that you say,
huh?
like y'all literally saying this. Y'all talk about both. I don't understand how.
What do you mean? Tell me how I'm talking about. If you earlier,
I'm not talking about you, Coach. I'm talking about stat guy specifically. How are you gonna say? How are you gonna say that? How are you gonna say an ACC team undefeated would go above Alabama with 1 loss?
No. He's
not an ACC team. Clemson, just Clemson.
He said Clemson would go. He said Clemson would go over a TCU team. That's what he said. Not Alabama and Georgia or Ohio State.
No, not based off their resume.
Yes, if Clemson runs the table, because of what's happened across the board, I promise you they get in over an undefeated TCU team. They get in over 1 loss. Yeah, it doesn't. The college football playoff committee
ain't always been fair.
They're not passing the eye test for me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Compared to TCU, if I look at TCU compared to Clemson, I'm picking TCU straight up.
I would too.
If I just look at their talent.
Clemson finna lose votes this week. They're gonna drop in the polls this week.
They struggle with Wake Forest. They struggle with Syracuse. It's crazy.
So up in the Big 10 today, Ohio State handled business against whoever they played, Iowa. They tried to sell us Iowa's. That's Q's got 1 loss, but people listen. I'm gonna tell you, people look at names on jerseys instead of what they done did. They'll say, "Well, it was Syracuse," but Syracuse was undefeated.
Syracuse is 14th in the country right now. It's a ranked win. It's their 3rd ranked win.
Yeah,
Coach, you can look at you want to look at, but you better look at how them votes are being split.
Well, listen, those votes matter, but the one that get you in the playoffs ain't got nothing to do with
nobody
either.
on here got a vote.
That's right. But those hey, Shawty, but to your point, those votes don't count when it comes to the CFP.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying. And I get what you're saying. I feel like TCU is a better team. I'm going by like past experience on how they've been putting people like again the year that Alabama beat us in 2017. I don't think they resume and say they should have been in. Somebody, it was other teams that could have got in, but it was Alabama because they had that built up in the bank. That's all I'm saying. Because everybody knows.
What I would say is, Coach, and this is what I'm getting to is like, we all have our own personal opinions. We all feel a certain type of way. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, when you're talking about the committee, you have to look out. That's what I was saying about the Oregon game. Like right now, we technically have the second best victory of anybody else in the conference, arguably the first, because of the point spread, of the margin. Tennessee just beat Alabama, but we beat Oregon by 40 points.
We'll see how they shake out.
Based on the ranking
at the end of the year.
So, like I say, we'll see what it look like in 2 weeks. So on to the Big Ten. Ohio State handled business today. Right now, Penn State is blowing out Minnesota, who I thought they was going to be good. Wisconsin beat Purdue. I don't really see, other than Michigan, Ohio State, I don't really see anybody in the Big Ten. What about you?
It's not.
Unfair Jay. What you think about the Big Ten?
Man, Big Ten is this year, man, 100%. It's literally Michigan, Ohio State. And that's really it. There's no argument. They're 100% top heavy this year. There's not really much parity anywhere else. Hell, the West, Illinois is the top team in the West. And we talk about looking at the jersey name besides the actual production of what they've done. What have we seen Illinois do in the last few years? We know that they've struggled in just about everything that they've done. They let me see, looking at their schedule, the only teams they've beaten is in conference, and then they beat Virginia and Wyoming. Like, overall, they've played no one. Luckily, they'll travel to Nebraska, which playing in Lincoln is a lot tougher than we give credit to. Michigan State and then Michigan. So when they play Michigan State, Michigan, and Purdue's known for upsetting everybody. They're the team that likes to just crash the party and ruin it for everybody. So when they play Michigan State, Purdue, and Michigan in a 3-game sweep, that'll tell us what they really are. But outside of that, man, to be honest, I think Michigan's going to end up winning this again. I think they beat Ohio State later in the season and give them a second upset. I think they go ahead and walk out. They've got that old school Big Ten offense. They pound the out of you with the ball. They just run and run and run and run. And so I see them pulling it out, but I would not be surprised if Ohio State goes out and puts 60 on them and just blow them out. It'll either be a close game or a blowout by Ohio State. It's going to be one of the two. There's no in between at all.
I got you. So my guy USC Jay gonna have to get up out of here in a minute, so I'm gonna let him get his Big Ten thoughts in. Go ahead, USC.
Man, I really don't know what they are, man. I don't know what Michigan is. I really don't know what Ohio State is based on. But from what I've seen from Ohio State, from an offensive perspective, they look like the best team, period, in the country. But I really don't know what they are. I mean, as far as being tested wise, I mean, because like everybody else alluded to, man. I mean, they played Iowa. I think they played Kent State. They played some other teams, man. That's just the Big Ten is just garbage this year, man. I mean, I don't even like looking at none of the teams on there this year, man. That's how bad it is this year. And to me, last year, from top to bottom, I thought they had the best conference, with Wisconsin. I mean, Washington State went to Wisconsin and beat Wisconsin this year, man, in the Pac-12. So it's like, I guess Ohio State.
Honestly, let's just do this, Jay. The winner of the Ohio State Michigan, that's who's gonna win it.
That's
there you go.
Pretty much, yeah.
That guy, I know you hate the Big Ten, but who you got coming out of the Big Ten, though?
Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten, but I'm not high on them at all. I mean, yeah, they've blown people out, but they've blown out Spartanburg School of the Deaf and Blind. Like, honestly, I think the teams they played, the 6 of us could line up in some crazy formation, score touchdowns on them. So we'll see. I mean, hey, maybe they get up and buckle up for the playoffs. But I mean, as of right now, yeah, they're going to coast to another Big Ten championship. But I don't know if this Ohio State team is as good as the ones we've seen in the last couple of years.
Okay. Well, hey, before you get out of here, USCJ, tell them where they can find you at, man, and I'm gonna let you get up out of here, dog.
Man, you can find me on hey, I appreciate everybody tonight, man. It was good to tap in with everybody tonight. You can find me on YouTube at USCJ on YouTube, or you can go on you can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at USCJ32. USCJ32 on Twitter and Instagram. YouTube is a little bit different, USCJ.
Y'all make sure to check him out, man. Good USC Trojan content. Tomorrow he'll be having Herschel Dennis, former USC running back, right? Former
running
USC
back. He was right. He was the running back right before Reggie Bush. He was the running back that scored that winning touchdown against Auburn when they went in 2002 and beat them 23-0. He was the last one to score. He's the all-time winningest college football player, period. Look it up, Herschel
There
Dennis.
it is. Y'all make sure y'all check him out, man. We appreciate you, Jay, man. I'll holler at you later, dog.
All right, brother. Hey, you gotta take care, man.
All right, man. Yeah, so in Big Ten, man, I think I got Ohio State. I don't know, man. That's Michigan. I don't know who they done played, and they run the ball. When you got to run an offense against a passing offense like Ohio State, I feel like Ohio State can put up enough points that running offense will put you behind. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of like LSU ain't no passing offense, but kind of like when Ole Miss got behind today, all that rushing, they like top 5 rushing offense in the nation. That didn't help them come back. Like when you down 14, you need to be able to throw the ball. And I haven't seen Michigan be able to throw the ball with consistency.
Well, Michigan's also got a good defense, though. That's the one thing we gotta give them props for too. Their defense is pretty stout. Like I said, it's old school Big Ten football. It's run the ball and play defense. That's really all they do very well. Now, J.J. McCarthy can throw it. They just don't have to. You've got 2 running backs that are absurd. And your blocking scheme is so good, you don't have no reason to actually have to throw the ball. Just pound the ball, run the clock out. And, call it a day. Like, why risk it when you don't need to? It's kind of like thinking about, like, when Alabama played Cincinnati in the playoff last year.
Yeah. Cincinnati
was known for – they had those 2 bookend corners who got drafted in the first round of the NFL, by the way, and they're doing really good right now. Alabama, Nick Saban looked at them and said, why the hell would I test them when I don't have to? They're running 3-3-5 and their linemen are small, running down their throat. So that's basically what Michigan's doing this entire time as well. It's like, we don't have a reason to throw the ball. We need to test everybody. Just run it down their throat. We've got the offensive linemen to do it. We've got the running backs to do it. And J.J. McCarthy can move too. Let's do it that way. And so they're doing it the way that makes the most sense today. They're not trying to outsmart everybody. They're just doing what works. And that's the only reason why I think that can work against Ohio State. Because even though Jim Knowles, new defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State there, he's a good guy. He's good at what he does. He's still got work to do with that defense. And if anything, Michigan can go out there and take over if they want to.
So, JJ, you believing in Michigan's defense? Because I'm not saying they ain't got a good defense. All I'm saying is, have they been tested? Because last year we thought they had a historical defense, and then we saw what happened when they actually played against, like even when they beat Ohio State almost put up over 30 on them. You know what I'm saying? So,
in my opinion, I think
what the Dogs did.
It's clearly down to the 2 teams, Michigan and Ohio State. Now the question is, okay, what does their defense truly look like? Okay, against real competition.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Do I think they'll show up against Ohio State? I think if Michigan's playing like this right now, the rivalry game is always there, and there's more juice into that. So if they're playing like that right now, I think it's going to be a tight game regardless. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I just think with Michigan's run game, they're doing it the way that they want to do it. So it's like teams want to pass, 40 times a game, 50 times a game. That's fine. But if your run game is doing so well, why go away from it? I think if they had to pass, they could definitely be somewhat conducive to making it competitive. But I don't know. I think if I had to pick a team right now, man, it's tough because I just keep thinking about Ohio State and Notre Dame, how they almost lost to Notre Dame. So, if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Michigan right now. I'm going to go with Michigan because they've been destroying teams and their defense has been playing well. I just think about that game and some of the tight games Ohio State's had. I don't know. We'll see. But right now in this week, I got Michigan. It could change.
Yeah, I can't say Ohio State, Michigan since the first week. You know that whoever they played, sorry or not, they've been handling them like they sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've been putting up the numbers like they should put up the numbers. So I will give them
They're doing what
credit
they're
for that.
supposed to do.
Yeah, facts. But it's like all of y'all said at the beginning of the conversation. We don't know really who's really good because it's so much parity, and it's like when you look good, it's like who you play. And if you think about it, like consistently, we all talked about TCU. If TCU hang on to win, which I think they are, they got the most ranked wins. You know what I'm saying? Out of anybody, they played 3 ranked teams back to back to back.
Cole, it boiled down to Cole. This what most folks don't realize. It boiled down to your front. The SEC, we just got better front players. Everybody has skill players. When you talking about the fronts, offensive line and defensive line, that's where the separation comes in at, and that's what a lot of people don't understand.
It's trenches. It's all about the trenches.
It's all about the trenches.
Can you protect your quarterback and can you get theirs? That's the formula in football. It's that simple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you want to talk about smoke and mirrors, that's what I look at. Like a lot of the things that we've been talking about with these teams, it's just smoke and mirrors. Because when you get down to the nitty and gritty about football, none of these teams has the fronts, whether it be offensively or defensively, to win the national championship. And that's all I talk about is winning the national championship. So I apologize. I talk about a different tier. I'm talking about winning the national championship. A lot of these teams you're talking about, they don't have the fronts to win national championship.
Right now, I think it's like 4 teams that can win the Natty. Right now. I just don't believe until I see it that Michigan can do it. I've seen Ohio State get there. I've actually seen Ohio State win one. So I think Ohio State got a defensive line. I ain't saying they defense good. I think they do have a good defensive line. Yeah, and they can put up hella points. While Tennessee's secondary couldn't cover none of us on this video, their front 4 is pretty solid.
They can probably cover me with my bad hip, but that's it.
but again, they can score. You know what I'm saying? And then we already know that Alabama has a good front 4, and we keep a good front 4 in Athens. So I feel like those are the 4 teams right now that can win. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying they can because of, like I say, all those teams can put up points, and all those teams have a good front 4. And like you said, like you said that it's looking like now it don't matter what school you pick out the hat. Everybody got skill players. I mean, we almost could pick a Biletnikoff award winner from any conference.
You're right. You can.
Like it's some, and like you said earlier, Max Duggan is a dark horse Heisman. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody got trigger mans. Everybody got wide receivers, and it's a lot of running backs out here too. But like to Shawty's point, man, it's like that them trenches. That's where everything differs. That's why Texas A&M was able to hang with Alabama, because they front 4 on defense is still legit. They ain't got a good team, but they front 4 on defense can put some hurt on.
Poorly coached.
They don't have a trigger, man. That Texas A&M problem. If they had a quarterback, they would be maybe a 1-loss team at worst.
But real talk, when they gonna get one? Because it seems like Jimbo Fisher, irregardless of how great he recruits, he can never find a quarterback. Ever. Now I've gotten to the point where I've asked the question: is it the quarterback or is it him? Because I'm thinking
he's supposed to be a quarterback guy. That would make it even worse.
That's my point. It's
quarterbacks.
I think it's him.
So we'll go around and JJ. So they paid a gob of money. Jimbo really started this whole $10 million a year thing. It wasn't Saban, it wasn't Kirby, wasn't Dabo, wasn't Ryan Day. It was Jimbo. At what point, man? Like right now, South Carolina's still up. They take a loss to South Carolina, they might not even be 6-6 at the end of the year. That's real talk.
Yeah, and everyone talks about the class that Texas A&M got, all this stuff. That's all well and good. At the end of the day, Jimbo is not a good coach. Okay, I mean, for crying out loud, I watched that Miami team go down there, and it's not just Miami, but anybody else. I mean, if we're going to talk about fronts, I mean, that's a very soft team. That's a very soft team, just falling all the way through. That team has not succeeded at all because both fronts are horrendous. They're soft. They get pushed around. The lack of discipline is ridiculous. Okay. In the SEC, the two teams that are truly consistent, but now, like this year's different. This is a 1 year where I'll say three, where it's really Georgia, Alabama, always there, but now you can put Tennessee in there. You look around it. I mean, those three teams have the upfront advantage. I think they're very physical. They're teams that are, like we talk about. Okay, they do have the skill players, but when you look up front, those are the three teams right now. I just think that overall, it's between those three. Tennessee's riding a wave right now. Do I think that they win out or anything like that? I'm not sure. I think it's going to be tough. I watched them up here. Good. They're a good squad. They were physical when they were up here too. When we faced them here at Pitt. I just look at it, but though I'm going to go with experience. Though I still think it's going to be Georgia or Alabama.
Who are we, JJ? I apologize. Who are we?
Pitt.
Who are you with?
Pitt.
Okay.
Yeah, when they came up
they
here,
did play Tennessee.
Person,
they played Tennessee tough.
Yeah, we went to overtime. We were tied at 27 at all, going to overtime with a backup QB. I mean, I can tell you this. I think just Tennessee's gotten better, but I think I'm going to go with experience and just say it's going to be either Alabama or Georgia in there. Just because, one, I think the experience, but also, two, I'm going to go with just the veteran coaching. I think Kirby's been there before. He knows how to adjust. And so with Nick. Nick lost to, obviously Tennessee. But you just don't know. Is Tennessee gonna slip up? Are they gonna slip up in there somewhere where they shouldn't have a loss? Are they gonna get too high on it where it could come back in their face and they lose? I don't know. Right now, it's just between me. It's those three teams, and I think it's just too early. Give us a couple more weeks, really 2 or 3 more weeks. We'll get an idea where we are. But I think it's really between those three teams.
Stat guy, how you feeling, man? 1:11 left. You up 30-21. Look like Shawty gonna have to wear some Gamecock gear. Hey, look at his stat guy probably running around the house. He probably ain't even paying attention. He's so happy they about to be sick. They about to be.
Listen, I had to give him. I'm a gambling guy, so I had to give him his bet back. I wouldn't leave him out there hanging like that. That ain't my team. I just try to give them. I just try to be fair. I'm a fair guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Louisville scored here recently. They up 14-10 with 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
This game, man, I don't know where y'all offense done with, JJ, man. I don't know what's going on here.
I think Slovis has just been an underwhelming quarterback. And again, of course, where'd he come from? The Pac-12. I mean, that's prototypical out of the Pac-12. But it's really there at that point. Their run game looks good, but you look at Slovis. He just he can't read defenses, man. I'm watching. They talked about at the end of the first half. He's thrown 2 interceptions tonight. I don't know where he's throwing the ball. I don't know what he's looking at. I mean, I don't know if he knows the team he's playing for is in white, not red. I'm not sure if he's colorblind. I don't know what's going on, but someone better tell him.
Yeah. So my question would be this here. Just speaking very realistically.
Yeah.
Are you guys or your head coach is able to recruit to keep the success up that you guys have recently had?
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be able to recruit to keep. I think you guys had, you kind of hit like a genie in the bottle type. You had a good little run, but I don't know if he has built a foundation where he's able to recruit to keep this kind of success that you guys have had in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, so I think really when I look at the classes, if you look prototypical over the past, let's say that he's in his 8th season at Pitt. I think for where Pitt was to where he got it to right now for the last 2 or 3 years, he's been doing really well. Honestly, I think it's just a quarterback play. I think, obviously we had Kenny Pickett for the last 2 to 3 years. He's a Heisman candidate for a reason, for 4,000 yards. It's a transition. When you go to a different quarterback, I think it's a lot different. And you're trying to find that guy.
So y'all don't reload? So y'all ain't there yet. That's what I'm getting at. Y'all ain't there yet.
So I don't think we're there yet, but I think overall, when you look at the skill positions up front, they've done a lot better up front. Quarterback play means everything. If you don't have a quarterback in college football, you're not going to do anything. Right. You have the greatest defense in the world. Heck, Pitt's only getting up 14 points today. The 2 turnovers only hurt them where they had good field position. But overall, they got a guy right now, commitment. He's a 4-star quarterback. Kenny Minchey out of Tennessee. He's a top 5 quarterback in this
Y'all
class.
snatched him out of Tennessee?
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
Tennessee got the kid Nick. I don't know. I ain't gonna butcher his last name, but he'll find stuff.
Nico.
Yeah.
Leva. Yolama Leva. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
I just look at it. I think they'll get there over time, but they continue to stack these years. I think that what they really need to do is get a quarterback. I think that's what's really holding them back this year, especially hell they run the ball. Izzy had 300 rushing yards last week, 6 touchdowns. They put up 50 points on Virginia Tech, but I mean Virginia Tech's not great, but still, it's there. But if they just can get that next quarterback, they're back in the ball game because they got the skill guys up front. Our defensive line, they're 5th in the nation in sacks. Offensive line can run block and especially pass block. They have the players, but now it's time to where they got to get the quarterback. And I think Kenny Minchey this coming year, man, the kid's got a bullet for an arm. He's had great competition down there in Tennessee. I'm happy, but this year, right now, if they come back here, obviously they'll have another win here. But they're almost there. Get that last guy there. Continue to recruit the way they are. It's just going to continue to build. I'm happy for especially where Pitt was, where we had influx of the amount of different coaches that went there. Back in 2009, they should have never gotten rid of Dave Wanstead. I mean, that was a bad move overall. But I think that they can still get there. But like anything else, I think they need to continue to prove it. That's the biggest thing. Prove it. Continue to do what they're doing. Stay to the formula. But you got to stack wins.
Like Shawty always say, you got to have that trigger guy, man. We running on the hour, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on, man. I got to go. Jay got to go. So, Jay, before we get out of here, tell them where they can find you, dog.
Yeah, find me on YouTube. I do a lot of OU content, Big 12, and college football content over at the YouTube channel at Unfair Sports. So find me and also wherever podcast download listen to. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it, Coach. Catch y'all later.
Problem. Yeah, all right, man. JJ, tell them where they can find you, dog.
You can find me at JJ_Kitchen40. You can just catch me on Twitter. Again, after the first of the year, I'll start my own channel, and it'll be great to get everybody on there and start talking college football. And you can also catch me on Coast to Coast, the Coast to Coast Network. You can find me on there with a bunch of great guys from all over the country. We'll really start that network up, and it'll be really good to talk college football through thick and thin and through all the conferences. So, so just JJ_Kitchen40. Coach, you're the man. Thank you so much. It's always great conversation. You bring the best of the best. So thank you. And thank you, Thad. Great job as always, man.
And y'all can catch me and Shawty on Tuesday, every Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Inside the locker room with the dogs, man. We got a big one coming up this week to preview that Florida game, man. And then me and Stat Guy, y'all know we pumping out those college preview videos, man. I appreciate y'all jumping on, man. It's my son's birthday, man, so I'm gonna spend the rest of the night with him, chilling. And I appreciate y'all jumping on here for JJ Kitchen, Jay from Unfair Sports, USCJ, Thad, Shawty Parker, my guy, Stat Guy, who actually got a good win tonight. His coach out and
hey, the game's still going on, bro. Don't be going crazy
out.
yet.
I got you, Stat.